St. Andrew's Church was built in 1575. It was the only church till the first quarter of the 17th century in this area. One of the biggest and the best church during those times. An evidence from the indulgence from Pope Clement the Eighth shows that the church was here in 1601 AD. You can see the architectural designs of the church. The church was built in a classical Portugal architecture style. Here you can see the foundation stone of the church. This is one of the oldest and the largest stone cross in this area. It is made up of a single stone. It is carved out of a single stone piece. It is said that this cross has 45 symbols carved on it. It represents biblical significance. The church was closed just once during the Maratha invasion between 1740 to 1749.
Statue is quite big.
In 1618, a cyclone blew off the entire roof of this church, which was later replaced.
There is an oratory in the premises of this church. Okay.
This oratory and altar was built by Miss Mary Teresa Miranda in 1929. So it's almost 90 years ago that this oratory was built. St. Andrew's graveyard is one of the largest graveyard in Bandra area.
An interesting fact, after 2 years of the buried person, mortal remains of the deceased person are removed after 2 years from this temporary grave and are put into these slots which you can see, these wall graves which you can see, and are kept. A booking has to be done through the church to reserve these graves.
The church underwent repairs in 1764 and the roof was renovated in 1931. There is a water fountain which is located just outside the St. Andrew's Church, which is almost more than 100 years old. As of now, this fountain is restored by Bandra Bandstand Residence Trust. November 2003 is the date of restoration as mentioned over here on this. It is a Gothic architectural style designed fountain. You can see the stone carvings made on this water fountain. It was presented by Jafar Bhai Lura to municipality of Bandra in 1894. Over here the fresh water used to flow for drinking purpose. Lots of travelers as well as horses which used to pass through this fountain used to stop by and drink water over here. Recently, this fountain has been powered with solar panels. So you can see the lights and the water pump work on these solar panels as of now. Right now it is stopped, but you can see the current arrangement, the lights as well as the water pump that is used to pump the water is connected to the solar panels. Hello friends, currently we are at a very historical place. These steps are no ordinary steps, they are very special steps and have a historical significance to this place in Bandra. These steps were built in 1879 by a Parsi businessman, Bomanji Jijiboy. There is a story behind these steps, and the saying is that there was a time when Bomanji Jijiboy and his wife wasn't able to conceive a child, and they made a prayer, a petition to Basilica over here, which is very famous even today, Mount Mary Basilica. So they made a petition, and it is said that due to the prayers and the offering made by Bomanji Jijiboy to in this basilica, that they conceived a daughter. In order to give back something to this basilica, Bomanji Jijiboy built these steps as a gratitude to the Mother Mary of this basilica. These steps were used by pilgrims to reach right from down to the top of the basilica. These steps were donated by Bomanji Jijiboy to the Bandra municipality, as it was called during those times. Even today there is a stone structure, there is a foundation stone of the same, which I will show you now. You can see the foundation stone of those steps even today at this place, which is still maintained by the current municipal corporation. You can see the foundation stone. It is presented by H. Bomanji Jijiboy to Bandra municipality in 1879. So it is still over here, and it is a very inspiring that these things are still maintained right now, even today.
So right now I tried to go into the Mount Mary Basilica, but there were a lot of restrictions on movement as well as a lot of restriction on the photography and the videography, and the way it was opened before the pandemic. Uh, as compared to that, now it is a lot restricted. Even if the pandemic has now come down, there is a lot of restriction within the basilica. So I had to end up shooting outside the basilica, and that's why decided to make the video indoors about the history of Mount Mary.
Mount Mary Basilica stands 80 meters above sea level on a hilltop in Bandra. It was built by the Portuguese who had occupied these islands and also Bandra, which is a part of these islands. The original oratory was built in 1570s. At that time, a wooden statue of Mother Mary was brought by a Portuguese Jesuit priest and placed at that current location for devotion. By 1600s, the population of the pilgrim increased. As a result, there was a need for the oratory to be enlarged. As a result, in 1640s, the oratory was enlarged and was converted into a large chapel. In 1700s, the pirates from Muscat Arab attempted an invasion of Bandra through the sea route, and they happened to come across this basilica, and in a hope to steal treasure in this basilica. In that process, they damaged the right hand of that statue. Basilica was destroyed during that time. In 1761, the work of rebuilding the basilica began again, and the statue was repaired and restored to its original position. The present structure of the basilica, which you can see today, was inaugurated in 1904. The oratory of Our Lady of Fatima, which you can see opposite the basilica, was inaugurated in 1954. Speaking about the architecture of the basilica building, it is made from the classical British architectural style with a semi-Gothic beautiful structures. The basilica is famous for its yearly Mount Mary Fair, also called as Bandra Fair. The fair happens every year, exceptional for the fair takes place every year in the month of September, with few exceptions like in the year 1895, where the famous Bombay plague broke out. As a result, all festivals were banned during those times. And as well as recently, the 2020 and 21 coronavirus pandemic.